The Book of Numbers, chapter 33. These are the journeys of the children of Israel, who went forth out of the land of Egypt, according to their armies, under the hand of Moses and Aaron. And Moses wrote their goings out according to their journeys by the commandment of Jehovah. And these are their journeyings according to their goings out. They journeyed from Ramesses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month. On the morrow after the Passover, the children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians. And the Egyptians buried those whom Jehovah has smitten among them, all the firstborn, and upon their gods Jehovah executed judgments. And the children of Israel removed from Ramesses, and encamped in Succoth. And they removed from Succoth, and encamped in Etham, which is at the end of the wilderness. And they removed from Etham, and turned back to Pi-hahiroth, which is opposite to Baal-zephon, and encamped before Migdol. And they removed from before Hahiroth, and passed through the midst of the sea into the wilderness, and went 3 days' journey in the wilderness of Etham, and encamped in Marah. And they removed from Marah, and came to Elim. And in Elim were 12 springs of water, and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there. And they removed from Elim, and encamped by the Red Sea. And they removed from the Red Sea, and encamped in the wilderness of Sin. And they removed from the wilderness of Sin, and encamped in Dophkah. And they removed from Dophkah, and encamped in Alush. And they removed from Alush, and encamped at Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. And they removed from Rephidim, and encamped in the wilderness of Sinai. And they removed from the wilderness of Sinai, and encamped at Kibroth-Hattaavah. And they removed from Kibroth-Hattaavah, and encamped at Hazeroth. And they removed from Hazeroth, and encamped in Rithmah. And they removed from Rithmah, and encamped at Rimmon-Perez. And they removed from Rimmon-Perez, and encamped in Libnah. And they removed from Libnah, and encamped at Rissah. And they removed from Rissah, and encamped at Kehelatha. And they removed from Kehelatha, and encamped in Mount Shapher. And they removed from Mount Shapher, and encamped in Harada. And they removed from Harada, and encamped in Machheloth. And they removed from Machheloth, and encamped at Tehath. And they removed from Tehath, and encamped at Tira. And they removed from Tira, and encamped in Mithkah. And they removed from Mithkah, and encamped in Hashmonah. And they removed from Hashmonah, and encamped at Moseroth. And they removed from Moseroth, and encamped in Bene-Jaakan. And they removed from Bene-Jaakan, and encamped at Hor-Haggidgad. And they removed from Hor-Haggidgad, and encamped in Jotbatha. And they removed from Jotbatha, and encamped at Abrona. And they removed from Abrona, and encamped at Ezion-Geber. They removed from Ezion-Geber, and encamped in the wilderness of Zin, which is Kadesh. And they removed from Kadesh, and encamped in Mount Hor, in the border of the land of Edom. And Aaron the priest went up Mount Hor by the commandment of Jehovah, and died there, in the 40th year after the children of Israel came out of the land of Egypt, in the 5th month, on the 1st of the month. And Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor. And the Canaanite, the king of Arad, who dwelt in the south in the land of Canaan, heard of the coming of the children of Israel. And they removed from Mount Hor, and encamped in Zalmonah. And they removed from Zalmonah, and encamped in Punon. And they removed from Punon, and encamped in Oboth. And they removed from Oboth, and encamped in Ijim Abarim, in the border of Moab. And they removed from, from Ijim, and encamped in Dibon Gad. And they removed from Dibon Gad, and encamped in Ammon Diblathaim. And they removed from Ammon Diblathaim, and encamped in the mountains of Abarim, before Nebo. And they removed from the mountains of Abarim, and encamped in the plains of Moab, by the Jordan of Jericho. And they encamped by the Jordan, from Beth Jeshimoth unto Abel Shittim in the plains of Moab. And Jehovah spoke to Moses in the plains of Moab by the Jordan of Jericho, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye pass over Jordan into the land of Canaan, then ye shall dispossess all the inhabitants of the land from before you, and ye shall destroy all their figured images, and all their molten images shall ye destroy, and all their high places shall ye lay waste. And ye shall take possession of the land, and dwell therein, for to you have I given the land to possess it. And ye shall take for yourselves the land as an inheritance by lot according to your families. To the many ye shall increase their inheritance, and to the few thou shalt diminish their inheritance. Where the lot falleth to him, there shall be each man's inheritance. According to the tribes of your fathers shall ye take for yourselves the inheritance. But if ye will not dispossess the inhabitants of the land from before you, those that ye let remain of them shall be thorns in your eyes, and pricks in your sides. And they shall harass you in the land wherein ye dwell, and it shall come to pass that I will do unto you as I thought to do unto them.